On to part 7 of my commentary on the Voyage of the Dawn Treader film. We're going to get to some of the most important scenes in the book now, and seeing how they've adapted them. And in the last video, I talked about mainly Deathwater and the whole Caspian Edmund temptation thing there, and how it was one of the worst dialogue scenes in the whole movie. Then we cut to Eustace is walking away, and we presume for the same reason it is in the book, to avoid having to help with the ship and stuff. And first off, the terrain here is very different from what's described in the book, but I liked it. I like how they make each island kind of distinctive. And I think if they had spent more time kind of dwelling on the strangeness of the treasure being there, could have been really cool. I like the visual of complete desolation and then this intricately designed treasure. You just look at it, and without the need to say anything, it's like, well, how did it get there? That's kind of strange. It suggests backstory. That's kind of what you kind of get in the book a little bit. Yeah, as a running thing throughout the story is suggested backstory. Like when they get to the Duffelpot Island and everything is really civilized and the grass is kept, it's like, well, who's been taking care of this? I love that. If they spent more time on that, then that might have been powerful. So Eustace is walking along, and we have the first Narnia poop joke. Hooray! He says something about Raman-doo-doo. It just shows you the kind of audience that they made this for. This movie was made for 7-year-olds. This is to wave pretty, digital, colorful, crisp images in front of them and keep them entertained so they won't go watch Nickelodeon. That's the primary audience this movie was made for. Where the book is, there's so much deeper, there's so much going on. The movie is thrown away. It's just junk for 7-year-olds and kind of the Nickelodeon audience. And this line where, of course, Eustace, he goes through and he sees the dragon treasure, slips and falls, and he's going through and he's like, I must be dead, And Will Poulter actually does a pretty good job at talking to himself when there's no one there. That's one of those really things that it's hard to sell. It's people don't usually just like talk to themselves, I think. Well, I guess I do. I hear it. But it's not something people usually do, and Eustace does a pretty good job Will Poulter does a pretty good job at making it convincing. When he finds Lord Octesian, what we're going to later find out is Lord Octesian, and he pushes the skeleton over, he's like, well, you're definitely dead. Now, that's another example of saying something that's so obviously right in front of us, but this time it works, because they're trying to be humorous about it. They're doing it for comedic effect. The fact that, and Will Poulter does a good job on, you're definitely dead. The humor from that line comes from the fact that, yeah, we can see he's dead. We know you're saying it anyway. That's kind of funny, we laugh at it. The fact that that's so funny, I think, is a good example. The fact that that's funny, I think, really shows why all the other scenes that are like that, where they're trying to be serious. Like, oh, there's a golden statue. I know, I see. Right? It's kind of hard for me to take him seriously. Same reason this part is actually funny. But here they're actually trying to be funny, so it works. So you're definitely dead. It's kind of funny. Then Eustace, of course, is looking around. We see the darn mist in the gold again. Because we're not going to know a character is being tempted unless they smear green smoke on the screen. And you're probably getting just as tired of hearing that as I am of saying that, but it's a common problem throughout the whole movie. Then Eustace seems to hear some kind of a roar and turns his head. You almost wonder, did they film the scene where Eustace sees that dragon and it dies, and then just cut it out? I don't know. But then here we cut away from Eustace, which is very unfortunate. I kind of like the fake out of thinking Eustace is dead, and it turns out, oh no, he's a dragon. That's a nice idea, but the huge consequence we pay of that, it turns out, is that we miss Eustace realizing he's a dragon and everything, and seeing the dragon die and how scared he is. We completely miss out on all of that. And I guess you could say, well, that would all be in his head anyway. So what that would, because when Eustace wakes up in the book and, oh, the dragon army, they're imitating me and all that stuff, he's slowly realizing he's a dragon, that would all have to be visual anyway. Imagine that. They would actually have to find a way to tell the story visually to make that scene work, to convey ideas visually rather than just saying it. I think that was just too intimidating for them. They said, no, let's not do that, Let's replace it with a huge, cool, visual effects-driven action scene where the dragon carries Edmund around. I think that's a lot easier, more expensive, but easier. Then we cut to we cut away, and we've got they're all on the shore, and I guess they're about to start leaving. And where's Eustace? And Reapership goes, I think he's out not helping us. And then Lucy turns to the camera, straight face, and says, Edmund, I've got a bad feeling. And maybe it's just because I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
I have a very bad feeling about this.
I got a bad feeling about this.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I have a really bad feeling about this.
And it's become kind of a joke, since then. And it's almost a my spider sense is tingling, kind of thing. Or Legolas, something draws near, I can feel it. And the way it was delivered was so corny. I don't think there was a need for it either. It's like, Eustace is gone, we should go look for him. I don't think there's any need to say, oh, there's a bad feeling. I think the audience already has kind of a bad feeling about it anyway, because we saw something weird happen with Eustace just before they cut away. They heard a roar or whatever it was. So there's no need for it, and they said it anyway. That was really cheesy. My brother and I are both big Star Wars fans. I think we both got a bit of a chuckle out of that. But suddenly, Caspian and Edmund go along. There's a little bit of tension between them, interestingly enough. And they find the gold, and they go down. They're looking at it, and they find a burnt shoe, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I guess they just suppose Eustace was spontaneously combusted or whatever. Maybe they know it's a dragon. I don't know. It's not really clear if they know what happened to Eustace." But Edmund, of course, another example. I'm sorry. I have to keep on harping on this, but it's a major problem throughout the entire movie. Is they're gonna again tell us, not show things. A major problem with the way this movie is written is that we don't see or feel character relationships or emotions. We have to be told that they're there. Edmund finds Eustace's shoe. He's like, "It was our cousin. He was just a boy. I never should have left him." Let's compare this to Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe. The end of Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe, at the battle when Edmund gets stabbed by the witch. This is one of the reasons why Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe was worthy of the sound mixing Academy Award nomination it got. They take out all the sound so that all Peter can hear is Edmund falling. And then he stabs that Minotaur. Remember, he's running towards the White Witch. It's a really heroic shot. And there's no need for Peter to say, "My mom told me to take care of Edmund, and now I let him down, and I've been struggling this whole movie to take responsibility as this kind of father figure, and now I must try to live up to that," There's no need to say that, because it comes through, because I am with Peter emotionally. I'm feeling what he's feeling. There's no need for him to tell me what he's feeling, because I know it. I can just watch it and see it. Here, they evidently felt that would not come through. That the filmmakers did not think that just Edmund looking horrified over the fact that his cousin's exploded or whatever after he's been treating him so badly the whole movie. They didn't think that would come through, so he has to say, "Oh no, I never should have left him." And this happened in the space of about 5 seconds. Literally the scene before, he's like, "Oh, Eustace is so annoying." Now it's like, "Oh no, never should have left him." Maybe if that was visual, it wouldn't be so bad. But the fact he has to say it out loud, it's horribly done. This is a horribly written script. It's clumsy, and it treats the audience like they're stupid, like we're not gonna get it. And whereas it's hard to believe these are the same writers that wrote Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe, where they actually did a pretty good job on Peter's arc, So then we cut to they do find the Lord Octesian, by the way. They find his skeleton. There's no reaction at all to the fact that Lord Octesian, one of Caspian's father's most loyal supporters, has died. They go, "Oh, the Lord Octesian, where's the sword?" They get it. "Oh, okay, moving on." No remorse at all. They don't even seem to care at all. That this is not about honor. This is about finding these swords that we need to blow up this green mist. I find it hard to keep a straight face even saying that, but that's in the movie. Someone wrote this on a piece of paper and said, "Yeah, this is a good idea." Then we cut away to the MLG, and Lucy and Drinian are on the ship, and they hear this noise, and Lucy's like, "Oh, what is that?" And the MLG goes, "That a volcano?" And Drinian's like, "Oh no, that's no volcano." That's kind of nice. Drinian's accent's still really cheesy, but it's cool because it suggests he knows it's not a volcano. So as an audience, it's nice that Drinian didn't say, "Oh no, it must be a dragon or something." Now, normally that's the way almost all these other scenes are written. If this scene was written the same way all the other scenes are written, Drinian would have said, "It must be a dragon of some kind. Everybody take cover." But it's more interesting the way he goes, "That's no volcano." And you can see on his face, well, then what is it? And then we see, there's this cool epic dragon POV shot where he's going towards the Dawn Treader, and we see the reflection of the dragon. We're like, what is it? What was it that Drinian was talking about? I'm kind of getting involved here. This is a rare example where they're doing it right. I'm getting involved here. They're not telling me what's going to happen or what's happening. I have to use my eyes and pay attention. Then the camera pans up. Oh, and the dragon's a little too friendly looking for me. The animation's well done. It looks fairly real. Good performance, I thought. But the problem is that it's just a little too friendly looking of a dragon. How cool would it have been to pan up from the reflection and there's this fierce looking dragon breathing fire into the camera or something? That would have been so powerful. Now it's more like, what's Drinian talking about? Oh, look at that cute dragon, But anyway, the dragon keeps flying along, and then he lands on top of the mast. And of course, I think any moviegoer is probably going, "Oh, he's going to break their ship, and they're going to be stranded. He's going to break the mast." But the filmmakers don't think that we're going to get that. So instead, they have to have Journey and say, "Look out, he'll break the mast!" in his crazy, cheesy Pirates of the Caribbean kind of accent. And then Reepicheep climbs up, stabs Eustace in the finger, I think. Dragon flies away, and I don't know how Caspian doesn't hear this huge creature coming, but Caspian turns around and ducks just in time as the dragon flies overhead. I have no idea how Caspian would not have heard it. Then the dragon picks up Edmund, and for some reason, I don't know why, he flies over to the Dawn Treader. And then Lucy's like, "Edmund!" Edmund's like, "Lucy!" Then the dragon turns around and goes back. I have no idea why. They just there's no logic behind it. I guess the filmmakers just wanted to have a moment where Lucy saw what was happening. I guess that's all. I wanted to be concerned for Edmund. I don't know. Then he flies away. You have this really overlong, oh, look how cool this is. Look how cool our visual effects are. Where Edmund's flying around. Then of course Eustace has written, "I am Eustace in the fire." To me, it's just not nearly as interesting as the book, where Eustace is ashamed because Eustace is dragoned, and he's ashamed of of what he's become, and he's like not even sure if the others will accept him, and the fact that he's fearful of even going near them just being a dragon, that's reflective of the fact that are they going to accept me? Turning into a dragon, it makes Eustace now looks like on the outside what he really is on the inside. He actually see himself for what he truly is. That's the power of it. I think we kind of lose some of that here. Eustace seems like a much more confident dragon than he is in the book. In the book, he's ashamed of being a dragon, And that starts his whole character arc of, like the book says, he began to wonder if he was really so wonderful as he always thought. I think we kind of miss out on a lot of that here. Then we cut to they're on the shore later on, and Lucy just clips off the arm ring right away from Eustace. This was in the book. Eustace having that arm ring stuck to him, it's just kind of a constant reminder of just the price he's having to pay. It's a constant pain in his side that Aslan then takes away. It's being a dragon hurts. That's an important point I'll talk about later in a later video. That in the book, being a dragon is a handicap for Eustace. Obviously, it enables him to do all these things like find a new mast and find them food and stuff like that. But they're also going to leave him behind. Because he has no way. In the book, he has no way of getting off that island. And so it's a handicap for him. It's not something he's proud of. And here you can, he's this all-powerful dragon and he's cool. It's kind of a whole different angle they've taken to it. We cut to the fact that the arm ring just pops right off and that's it. It's like, what? That was it? Again, something that's actually kind of really important in the book. It's just kind of an Easter egg that you'll catch if you're a fan of the book. Incredibly disappointing. Then they reveal that the reason Eustace was dragon is completely different. In the book, it's because Eustace and his greedy dragonish thoughts. Maybe there might have been something magical about that location to character-driven transformation. And here they say, everyone knows that dragon's treasure is enchanted. It didn't have kind of the way they said it didn't have kind of the character-driven kind of power to it that the book had. And so I wish they'd kind of spend a little more time on that. And you also have to wonder, well, if the treasure's enchanted, and everybody knows that, according to Caspian, why didn't Edmund and Caspian turn into dragons too when they examined the treasure? There's a lot of possible explanations for it, but it's never explained at all in the movie. So I thought that was kind of poorly done. I like that line. I think it's Edmund who says, "Antel Bertram will not be pleased," and that was pretty funny. Then they have Caspian decides, we're going to stay here and we'll see what we can do. And then Rince has to say, "But you have no food, or no provisions, no means of staying warm." Kind of cheesily over the top the way he delivers it. Then Eustace blows the fire. Adequate. Okay, there's your punchline. There's your joke. And then Reepicheep has to ruin it by saying, "Oh, you were saying," as if we an audience are not going to get, oh, that's how they're going to do it. If they just do it visually, it would have been a lot funnier. But because they're making this movie for 7-year-olds, it has to be, they have to explain every single thing. Though I think even some 7-year-olds might be like, I know, they didn't need that. But so now they're still on Dragon Island, Deathwater Island, whatever you want to call it. And I'll start talking about another really terrible dialogue scene with the MLG, and a decent dialogue scene with Eustace and Reepicheep. And then we'll see Eustace the dragon, where being a dragon is not much of a handicap. It's actually kind of celebrated, So moving on with my Dawn Treader commentary.